want to action it every time, and we want to not just like live by our words, but live by actions, because that's what real leadership is, and that's what real masculinity is. So to get started, we spoke about like identifying one area we've avoided responsibility, and make one decisive decision to change that. So what was yours?
My area was just being present with my kids, and what my action was to have like a period every day where I just put away my phone and just focus on them. And I'm happy to say that I've been doing it consistently, and it's been really good. And it's one of those things, like, funnily enough, we're talking about leading ourselves. That was one of the things that I think leading really taught me about leading myself. Well, not so much taught me about leading myself, but I really felt like when I decided it, I was deciding it because I thought this will be good for my kids, and my kids will love it because they'll have their dad present. But it was actually more benefiting for me than it was for them, just getting away from it and just feeling good about that, and not having it in my pocket, in arm's reach, was actually really like mentally beneficial, and just being able to focus on them and not worry about that. And also as soon as I get home, I'd put it upstairs, I'd put it on charge, and I'd put my watch on charge as well.
Yeah.
And that really helps me because I like to track my sleep, but sometimes I forget to charge my watch and it runs out of battery while I'm asleep. So that kind of killed two birds with one stone. But it was really, it's been really good, and something that I'll continue as well. Sometimes I don't always get to run upstairs and put it like right away, but I'll just put it on the counter or whatever when they want to play. And it's been really cool.
That's cool, man. Well, I think one thing that I've, I don't know, I can't remember where I read it, or maybe like someone in business, one of my business mentors might have said it, but basically, like, it's important to be disconnected to the point where like it's boredom. I'm not saying that your girls are any type of way like make you bored, but it's like even in the times where you can have complete silence, no TV, no phone, and be completely disconnected from everything. That's actually really important for our brains, I think, to reset.
Yeah.
And also, I think with when you do have your daughters and you have your like that time with your family, having that no distractions whatsoever and being super present, which I think is something that I've been really focusing on, is being this 100% present in the moment, because you never know when it's going to be your last either. But it also shows that like the people that mean the most to you, that you're there with them. You're in life, like kids don't. Kids will emulate and follow what you do. They don't really necessarily listen to your words, but they will see your actions. And if we don't want to have kids that live in a iPad or iPhone society, then we need to disconnect as well.
Yeah.
And you're showing real leadership there by not only like limiting yourself and like sacrificing, or not even, it wouldn't even be sacrificing, but you're not giving in to that dopamine hit that you would have by having your phone going buzzing off.
Yeah.
Instead, you're actually choosing what's more important. And that's your time with your family and your girls.
100%.
That's so good, man. Like I'm really happy for you that you've continued that and you've made it like it sounds like it's a bit of a habit now.
Yeah, it is a bit of a habit, and it works because it makes me feel good, and I see the benefit of it immediately almost. It's like, you do a habit and you want that reward straight afterwards. That's what keeps it going, and I do get that reward, but it's not like I have to go out and, I've done this habit, now I'm going to eat a chocolate, or like it's actually an intrinsic reward of actually seeing, like, being able to spend time with the girls and seeing the smiles on their faces, and having teachable moments with them as well.
Cool. Yeah, it's like when you said, relate everything to the gym, and the gym's like that. You don't reward yourself with a physical reward. It's that dopamine you get.
Yeah, that hit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, man. So tell me about your your action rep.
My one was that I recognized that I didn't spend intentional time with Dee. So we didn't like have time together as a couple because we do have 6 kids. We got kids that play sports. Like, life is busy. We've got a lot of things going on. And one thing I did start to feel guilty on was that I wasn't putting our relationship where it should be. Yeah, it should always be God, then myself, my partner, and like in our relationship. That's how we work in a family, and then it's our kids.
Yeah.
Because, if I'm not right, mentally, physically, then I can't be present with Dee as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And if our Dee and I relationship isn't solid, then our kids don't get the best of us as a family. And so that was the whole thing, is taking her out to dinner. I can't remember if it was dinner or lunch, but I did it.
I think it was lunch, because I think you messaged me because I was waiting to publish the podcast until you taking her out, because she'd hear that, hear the surprise. That's right. It was Saturday. Yeah, we went out and we went and got something to eat. We went to a restaurant. To be honest, and where it was doesn't actually matter, but the time that we spent was special. Phones down, just talking, taking the time for each other, holding space for each other, just to talk about what matters. Talk about us, man. It was cool. Yeah.
And it's something that I endeavor to do more often and more regularly. It's, we've got to put in a structure in place to be able to make sure that that's definitely a non-negotiable in our lives. So even if it's monthly. Yeah, like every second week of the month or whatever on Saturday, we're going to go out. Yep. Yeah, having that sort of routine there in place. So it's not just like, oh, when we have a free moment, we'll do this. It'll never become a habit if you just sort of are passive about it and not intentional. Absolutely. And that's a lot about what we're talking about today. One segment that we're going to be talking about today is leading your time, which is going to flow well into what we're about to talk about is... Can I just interrupt you for a second? Because I've got a funny story. Oh, absolutely. And I was telling Katie... It better be funny. Mate, well, it's funny and embarrassing because I was telling Katie about the action rep the next day, and I told her about my one to put my phone away and play with the girls, and then I told her about your one, which was spend more time with my wife, and I think she was kind of like, why couldn't you think of that one? Take me out to lunch, take me out to dinner. So I think we got man. No, finish the story. I'm interested. No, we were going to have a kid-free weekend if it wasn't for the weather, and I was sort of trying to conjure something up, but instead the boys are coming over to watch the footy tomorrow. I like where your head's at. Yes. I noticed how I'm not one of the boys. Well, that's okay. Oh, no, you come over, right? That's right. No, this is work, boys. I'm going to Logan Metro anyway. I'm going to go watch it with Mark Tukey. Mark Tukey? Yeah. For real? I know Mark Tukey. Yeah. No, it's just they're holding a watch-along for the families. Cool. To watch the Warriors. Up the Waz, as always. Yeah. Well, we were watching the Broncos, bro, so you probably wouldn't want to be around for that. Savannah will be all over that, bro. Yeah. Not me. Hopeless. Tickets, we were trying to go to the game. Tickets sold out real quick. I know, right? We tried to go to the game too for Savannah's birthday, but come on, Broncos, put your head in. It's because they won. I don't know if you heard, but it's because they won the premiership last year. That's why the tickets sold out. Yeah, but then, they were so good that Payne Haas wants to leave, right? Yeah. That's right. It sounds like they might be getting old Mitch Barnett from the Wires, so I'm a bit upset about that. Oh, man. Compassionate leave. Come on, man. Right. Don't move to New Zealand. Anyway, we're not a rugby league podcast, but... Okay, cool. It's part of being a man, right? Sports, yeah? Yeah, 100%. 100%. That takes self-discipline. Yes. But, Al, tell me, from your opinion, from your perspective, what does it mean to lead yourself? To lead yourself, I think it's about being intentional and knowing who you are. For me, it's about having things right about your identity, who you are in Christ, what your beliefs are, what your values are, and then being intentional and making sure that you're
daily habits and the things you do habitually and daily reflect who you believe yourself to be. Right? Simple example, if you say I'm a Christian, if I told you I'm a Christian, it would be natural for you to assume that, okay, he reads his Bible, he prays, he goes to church on a Sunday.
You have certain standards and values.
Yes, absolutely. And if you found out that I didn't do those things, you'd be like, oh, I thought he said he was a Christian, without being judgy. But does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. It's when you have, when you identify so strongly with something like that, there are a set of standards and habits and values that you live through. Specifically when it comes to choosing your faith, and if you live by one. I think part of my perspective is leading yourself means that you do what you don't necessarily want to do, but you know that it's beneficial for you.
Yeah.
So, if you've got a vision and you want to live in a Christian type way, and you want to, you have certain values, then there's things that you're not going to do. And however, we all have desires. We all have things that we want to do. We all have things that are like our, like our negative habits. Like, maybe one of them is you like to drink excessively. So that's contradictory to you living the lifestyle you want to live if you have the values of someone who wants to be Christian, or someone who, even someone who has like different goals for themselves, someone who wants to achieve more than just the standard get drunk every weekend type person. So it's about knowing what type of life you want to lead and making sure that you live in accordance to those values, regardless of how you feel. Because some days you might wake up and you let's say you've got a really good gym habit and you want to lift a certain amount of weight, or lose a certain amount of weight or whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to show up no matter what, because if your vision is strong and you have a strong enough why, then it doesn't really matter how you feel, because like discipline doesn't care about your feelings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your goals don't care about your feelings. Time doesn't care about your feelings because time is ticking away.
Yeah.
And if you consistently choose the comfort over discipline, you're never going to reach the type of lifestyle you want or the type of values you want to live through. And the other part too is, it's ensuring that you don't drift away from your values. Discipline and structure keeps you on track. I think it's also like leadership. I think I got here, it says leadership is not something you get when life gives you a title, a family, a business, a ministry, or a big opportunity. It's something you build and prove first by leading yourself in the small, unseen, unglamorous moments. That's basically just talking about doing things in the dark that no one else will do.
Yeah, it's about having integrity and having good character and knowing that even if no one sees this, if no one sees me getting up at 4:30 in the morning every day to go to the gym and work out and there's no one else in the gym, I'm still going to do it because that's who I am, and that's a promise I made to myself that I would do that.
I had a good example of this. I remember watching a documentary about Civicus Sejanus, who is like, they call him Big Z. He's like 4-time world's strongest man from, I want to say, not Iceland, but one of those countries, maybe Latvia or something. Anyway, one of the things that he used to do, because in strongman, as it gets popular, you get like a lot of crowds and stuff like that, and a lot of people watching. So you get this rush of adrenaline, and as you're going out to lift, you start to feel real pumped up because you got people cheering your name, and especially for someone like Big Z, who had like the world's biggest log press for a long time, the world's biggest deadlift for a long time. multiple world championships. So he was used to the accolades and the highlights. But what he used to do was there was a stadium in his hometown that was freezing cold, and like first thing, or not maybe not first thing in the morning, but in the morning, he'd go there, no music, no people, and he'd just train in silence. He would train himself to be so disciplined that he didn't need the class, the applause, like
the
he
recognition.
knew exactly what he wanted,
Mm.
and so he was willing to do whatever it took. And part of that was to block out all the noise.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important for us, if we're going to lead ourselves, to recognize that, you know, we need to be consistent in who we are no matter what scenario. So, you know, we talk about, you know, when the chips are down, when times are tough, who you are shows up.
Mm.
And that is 100% true, right? Like, you've got to make sure that even at home by yourself, you're still leading yourself, because although someone's not necessarily watching, there could be a flow-on effect. You start getting into bad habits, you know? It's like maybe someone out there might be like, pornography might be a thing where, because you're doing it in the dark and no one sees it,
Mm.
you might think it's okay, but in actual fact, like, you're doing it as a detriment to yourself. You're not leading yourself very well.
Yeah.
And then that shows up in other areas of your life, whether it's your relationship, whether it's, you know, your skewed perception of what a woman should be and should be doing for you. But I guess that was that was an epic tangent.
Yeah, that was good, bro. No, I mean, I completely agree. It's just about doing it for yourself. I tell my students that all the time. Like, now I've got to deal with AI and the temptation for them to just use AI to answer all their questions and do all their thinking for them. I say to them, like, it probably doesn't land very well with them because they don't really sort of get it at the immature mind doesn't sort of understand it. But I say to them, like, you're doing a disservice to yourself.
Yep.
You're not only being unfair to people who actually do the work, you've been unfair to yourself, and you're not benefiting yourself because you're not learning, and you're here not to not to impress anyone. You're here just to show me what you can do, and that's what I want to see. I want to see what you can do.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think before we go ahead, I don't know. I want to sort of bring up a bit of vulnerability from my end. I know we're talking about self-leadership, and we're talking about how what it means to be a disciplined person. Now, I've had seasons in my life where I've been really disciplined and really on it, and had my non-negotiables, had my standards, had structures in place. But I'd say this last season of life, where probably about the last year, I've struggled. Like, I've honestly struggled a lot to stay on track with certain things. I've struggled to lead myself well, and probably as a consequence of that, struggled to lead my family well. Even though, you know, my partner, like Dee, says I do a good job, I always feel like I could be doing better. And that's just, you know, simple things like not looking after myself very well, always putting other people first, really particularly my family, but it's because I'm not leading myself first, I'm not giving them the best. And that showed up in so many areas of my life. And because, you know, maybe I'm the type of person that has to go to the gym consistently. Like, it has to be 5 days a week. Otherwise, my mentality, like, minimum 5 days a week. Like, I'll go 7 most. But my mentality starts to really drop. And if I see myself not keeping up with that habit in particular, then my mentality starts to really decline. If I'm not reading my Bible, if I'm not praying on a day-to-day basis, man, like, the enemy just starts attacking me, bro. Like, my thoughts are just so crappy. Hey, you know, I start getting the seed of self-doubt. I start to feel like I'm not worthy of anything. I just start feeling like nothing I do can ever come out right. I don't feel like I'm worthy of success, or I can lead people, even when I'm in positions of leadership already.
Yeah.
And it's just been, I've felt like I've been living a bit of a lie, which is why I wanted to bring it up, like in this podcast before we started to get into it, because I don't want to sit here and talk about, leading myself and other men having to lead themselves without addressing the fact that I've not been doing that very well.
Yeah.
But the difference is now is I'm making a massive effort to change that.
Yeah.
And a lot of that started with not just reading the Bible, but being intentional about reading the Bible and looking for the gold in it, because there is so many scriptures that just like heal your soul, and intentionally praying to God, trying to have an actual conversation with him instead of just having a one way, like, God, can I have this? I'll do this if you can give me this.
Yeah.
It's not transactional, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like being super grateful, being present. And I've actually started to see a turnaround in my mentality. And that's just come down to getting back to basics, getting back to eating better, praying, reading my Bible, exercising, pretty much bringing good stuff in, and so that I can fill my cup.
Yeah.
And then I found that I'm starting to come out of that.
Yeah. What would you say is the one, because I know what you're talking about, and I think lots of people can relate to going through those seasons, even when like, this is who I am. I'm not currently living according to what I believe about myself and my values, and everyone goes, I've been there many a time. And what is the one thing, because we talked about when things start to get rough and things start to get crazy, there's something that like sort of slips first. And for me, it's, to be honest, it is prayer and reading my Bible, like, because those are the things that I can just get a little bit more time here, and I'll get back to that. Or I'm in church every Sunday. I work at a Christian school. I'm getting the word here. I don't necessarily like. I'm getting those little bits of biblical like infilling. So I can live without the Bible, like reading it to myself and praying, because I'm doing those things in other areas of my life. But on the flip side, there's something that, like, the book Habits, Atomic Habits, called Keystone Habits. There's habits that, like, when your life's all messed up and you're like going all over the shop, there's one habit that I know if I hit this and if I start doing this, for me it is exercise, going to the gym and getting that routine. And if I start doing this, then I'll start eating better, and I'll start managing my time better, and then I'll start reading my Bible more and praying more, and I'll start getting more out of church, and I'll start looking forward to having Christian conversations with people and being intentional about my friendships and my relationships. Do you think there's like one keystone, or is that what you're talking about, like being in the gym? Is that something that if that dropped off, then it's like done?
I think that's part of it, but I think it goes much smaller than that. What I found, in order to get back into momentum of life, you've got to start with small, almost like mundane actions. And mine was definitely gratitude. I suffer with quite a bit of anxiety, and most people wouldn't see that, but I do struggle, and I understand that anxiety only comes from worrying about what's to come in the future, and I can't predict that, only God can. So my thing is, like, I had to get back just to being grateful. So every morning for me, it just started off with I'm not someone that can write things down and be consistent with that. Like some people have like journals and whatnot and gratitude journals. I'm not that type of person, but I'm very introspective. So I will sit there and think a lot, and I'll think deeply. And one thing I just started doing is, first thing I want to wake up, before prayer, before Bible, is just like, man, how about I just look for things that I'm grateful for? Man, I've got so many things to be grateful for. Like I got amazing kids. I've got an amazing wife. Like I've got an amazing ex-wife who's like a really good friend of ours. Like
Yeah.
Like who else can say that they've got a relationship with with their ex-wife that is actually a friendship.
Yeah, and it has a positive
That
influence on you and your family.
and has a positive influence on my kids. Like so, like I'm grateful for that relationship, and I'm grateful for, man, I'm grateful for being here, part of Life and Legacy. Like this church is amazing, and the people in it, and the people in it have gotten me through some times where they wouldn't even know it, and like I won't name people, but there are people in church, and you're one of them. I'll name you because you're here.
Thank you, bro.
Like just even a single word, or just like a word of encouragement without even me saying like, "Oh, dude, I'm struggling."
Yeah.
So it's just being grateful for those little things. And once I don't know about you, but if I'm not in the gym constantly and I fall off, for some reason I start to feel like, oh, why would I go to the gym? Like I'm not even a gym person.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous to think about because I'm like, I've been there, I've done some amazing things in that space. But I start to get this seed of self-doubt, like, bro. And then I have to shut that thought off and be like, no. Where your feet are, bro, like that's where you are. Like, you're there. So wherever your feet are, you're there.
It's crazy how susceptible your mind is to things like that. Like you talk about gratitude, and I love that, waking up and thinking or just writing. Like some people write it down, some people just think and pray about what you're grateful for, because that immediately sets your mind up to actually notice the positives. Whereas lots of people get worried, like wake up in the middle, like, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. And that just sets them on to notice the negatives.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I'm worried about stuff, I get up and I write everything that I'm worried about or everything that's stressing me out. I write it down on a piece of paper so that it's like, it's out of my mind. Like, sounds silly, but it's like out of my mind. It's on there, and I immediately just relax. And there was this study that I heard about these people, all really good professional singers. They're about to do a performance, and they got half the group to say before the performance to say, I'm nervous. And the other half to say, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And it's that same thing. I'm nervous immediately sets you on the path to think about how everything could go wrong. I'm excited immediately sets you on the path to how everything could go right. And I've just started saying that to myself. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, like when we were starting this podcast, I was like, are we fools? Like, like,
I still feel that now.
Yeah. No, like who's going to listen to us? But then like, I just say like, man, I'm actually really excited about this podcast. I'm really excited to see what happens. I'm really excited to, have these conversations with you and build our friendship. There's a lot of things to be excited about. Yeah. There's a few things to be nervous about and a few things to be like, but just saying to yourself, I'm excited, and actually just telling yourself that actually just reveals, it just sets your mind on that positive pathway to just notice all the positives and think about all the positives rather than think about the negatives. So it's really important and really a good habit to get into, like right at the start of the day, that gratitude. Notice all the positives in your life.
Yeah. I like what you said, how when you write it out, it's like you're just letting it go.
Yeah.
That's so good. And maybe that's something I do try. Maybe that's part of my action rep this week. I don't know. We'll figure that out at the end of the episode. But I really like I like that. Just the physical action of letting it all. I know some people like burn like their thoughts, or like they write it down on paper.
They write it down like they burn it and throw it away.
Probably
or
not me, but
yeah.
At least just getting the thoughts out. And I also like how you talked about like having that positive thought, especially around this podcast and obviously other aspects of life. But I also had my own imposter syndrome struggles with that, and being like, what if what I say comes back to bite me in the butt? You know what I mean? Like, and what if people don't resonate? And then I realized, like, you know what? People can just press stop and pause and just go to the next episode.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. And if you're not liking this episode, then do that. But anyway, it's like, it's understanding that what you look for is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And that brings me like to that topic of there's a thing called like your reticular activating system. And this is like scientifically proven that there's a part of your brain that is geared for pattern recognition. So a good example of the reticular activating system working is if you were to go out and buy like a blue car or a type of car that you've always wanted, but you sort of never really seen on the road.
Yeah.
As soon as you buy that car, all of a sudden you're seeing blue cars everywhere, or you're seeing a particular model of car. That's because now that you're focused on it, and now that you've got it, like you see it so much more often, and it's really cool because we can train our mind to work in that exact way about anything. So if we have a goal that we want to reach, and we tell ourselves that we're going to accomplish that, and we pray to God because God's gonna bring that into our lives as well, and we just focus on that intently, like there's a likelihood that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, our brains are amazing, and we're able to convince it that anything is real because it doesn't know the difference between reality and what is the word? Reality and
dreams.
Dreams.
Make believe.
Yeah.
Imagination.
Imagination or whatever. Imagination, yeah. That's a good one. But so as long as we're putting the good stuff in and we're focusing on the right things, anything's possible. It's just a matter of being intentional about what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
And that comes down to leading your mind, which is the segment that we're now talking about.
Yes.
And in the Bible, Romans 12 verse 2, it says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And we said too many men drift through life doing what everyone else tells them to do, but God calls us to be different, to renew our minds. Change starts in the way you think, in the questions you ask yourself, in the discipline you enforce in your own mind. When your mind is aligned with God, your life follows. Leadership starts in your head before it ever shows up anywhere else.
Yeah, I like that. I like for me this scripture came down to how that last sentence, leadership starts in your mind, in your head before it shows up anywhere else, because it's from the inside out that you change. And if you like for us, if we identify an area of our life that doesn't line up with or that we don't like, we have to identify as that we don't like that because it doesn't line up with who we are. And I remember when I first, like, just sort of like maybe the year before I became a Christian and gave my life to the Lord, I was like 22 years old. And I was smoking a lot, and I'd tried to quit and things like that. And it was a lot of the language around that is like, oh yeah, if someone offered me a cigarette, like, nah, I'm trying to quit. I'm trying not to, you know, like when you're trying to, when you want to eat healthy and you're like, oh, I'm trying to be good. What you're actually saying to yourself is that I am a smoker, but I'm trying to quit.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, you know, I'm not a smoker. Although it's like I slip up sometimes. Maybe I have a cigarette or whatever. And it wasn't until I like became a Christian, it was literally the day where I gave my life to the Lord that I quit smoking. And what actually happened was a change in my mind and a change in my mindset and a change in a belief about who I was, to say that this is not who I am anymore. Okay, I'm no longer a smoker. And when you're trying to build a habit and when you're trying to be someone, saying I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to be healthy, when are you going to be healthy? When are you finally going to do it? When are you going to stop trying and just do it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why can't you say the day I decide to quit smoking, the day I decide to go to the gym, why can't you say this is the day I am now a gym goer, I'm now a non-smoker, I'm now a healthy person? Because if you just keep saying I'm trying, you're just going to lead yourself down the path of failing.
Yeah. So when you were going down that path of like changing your identity, did you have like do you believe in affirmations or more prayer?
More prayer. I think affirmations is, I don't know if I believe in it or not, but it's certainly not something that I've really ever practiced, if you know what I mean.
Because to me, like an affirmation is just basically that. It's telling yourself that you are not a smoker. I mean, it's no woo-woo magical thing. But it's just saying I'm not a smoker, really, and repeating that. And obviously you can say in prayer as well. It's like, God, I'm no longer a smoker, so please help me to not have that in my life. But I feel like either way, it sounds like you use some sort of like coding on your own brain to change your entire identity around that.
Yeah.
Where do you think that started? Like, what was it? Was it through prayer, or was it just a decision that you made and you had that strong of a willpower?
It certainly wasn't willpower, because I just gave up. I gave up trying. Once I said that prayer, that sinner's prayer, and asked Jesus to come into my life, and there was a period of going to a Bible study and going to church, which was in the Bible study introduced me to like Kim and a couple of other people who witnessed to me. And I just said to God, I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like I want to commit, but I don't trust myself. I don't know if I can do it, and I just need it to be you. And then when I gave my life to God, I suppose there is like some sort of truth in like the affirmations and speaking things out. The Bible says that words have power because we're created in the image of God, and when God speaks, things happen. Like God said, 100%. Let there be light, and there was light. And particularly when you say things about yourself, it's like evident. If you say I'm a loser, I suck. Yeah, you're gonna suck. If you say I'm a winner, I'm gonna smash this job interview, you're probably going to smash a job interview. You know what I mean? Like, words have power. And in a sense, like the praying out loud in particular, that has a strong influence, I think, over our mind. And it's one of the reasons why God tells us to pray continually as well, because he knows that that is very good for our mental health in particular.
So what it sounds like, what it actually was a complete identity shift from the person you were to the person you are now, but you were the person you were going to become.
Yeah.
Not just about being a smoker, but your entire existence changed from. Did you say you're like 22?
Yeah.
So from pre God, pre Jesus, 22 beforehand, like that entire person made a shift into this new man that we see here. Obviously, you developed yourself as you went along, but that was like the seed that you decided to plant all those years ago by giving your life to Jesus, and that was pretty powerful. That you're able to change your life in a way. And I'm sure there's other things that you may not share, but as smoking is like one of the examples.
Yeah.
Like that is the power in like a complete identity mind shift.
Yeah, 100%.
Where you're convicted about something, right? Like you're super convicted about this is the path you want to take. God is the only way to your salvation. So you went all in, and that included quitting smoking, and I'm sure various other things.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. No, it was a great time, and super thankful for all the people that have spoken to my life at that time as well, and that had the courage to sort of. Cause it's hard to, you don't know how someone's going to react when you speak to them. So I'm really thankful for that. But it was a complete identity shift. But I suppose like just bring it back to discipline. Telling yourself and praying is one thing, but then there's got to be action behind it. There's got to be those continual like daily sort of tick the box votes towards like you convince yourself, you say these things to yourself, and then you convince yourself that you are that person through the actions that you take daily.
Ooh, I like that. That's 100% true. And, I've got nothing to add to that, actually.
Okay, cool.
That's
perfect.
good. One other thing is like what consumes you, or what you consume determines your direction. Now, I wanted to talk about this because there's a lot going on in the world, right? What's funny? It's the way I said that.
No,
Should I say it again?
you accidentally said what consumes you. And I just went, I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
And then you were meant to say what you consume.
Yeah.
I was like,
wait, did I say that? I definitely said something wrong. My bad. So, what you consume determines your direction.
yes.
Now, there's a choice, right? Like, there's so many things going on in this world. From the war in Iran to the war in Afghanistan, between Afghanistan and Pakistan, the US, and seems like everybody. There's just so many things. And by the way, I have no opinion because I don't pay attention to it. But that's exactly my point. Is these things are going to happen regardless of how much energy we put into it. However, if you let the news and you let all this stuff consume your thoughts, only negativity is going to come out. Now, that is you just conforming to comfort. Like it's probably comfortable and it's probably addictive because that's why the news has so much negativity, is because they know that it sells. And you slip into this comfortable place where you can just switch on and mind-numbingly just watch all this stuff and get down this negative rabbit hole. And that's just you choosing comfort and not choosing to get outside the box and be disciplined with your thoughts and disciplined with what you listen to and what you watch. So I feel like we have to be careful in terms of what we actually pay attention to. And I think instead of like watching the TV, mind-numbingly doing that or scrolling, or because a lot of the news can come through like all those apps like TikTok and whatnot.
Yeah, social media.
Yeah, social media apps. It'll always come through. But if instead of you replace that for a time of prayer, or you replace it for a time of meditation, just yourself and God and nature, or you use that time to be productive with your business, or be productive with your health, or read the Bible. There's so many things that you can replace all of this negativity with, but it's up to you to be proactive in choosing that. There's a story where we have two wolves in our minds. One is of light, one is of darkness. Both need to be fed. So which one are you going to choose? The one that's of lightness, where you're going to, you're going to be prosperous. You're going to live a life out with your values. You're going to be, somewhat of integrity. You're going to be disciplined, or you're going to feed the lazy wolf that's of darkness, that's just going to slip you down a rabbit hole that's not going to be helpful for you or your loved ones or the people or your community, because you're not able to lead yourself correctly. And the only reason why I get to say that is because that's where I was. I was choosing comfortability because it was just so easy to slip into. Not that I've ever been one to watch negative news or anything like that, but there's certainly other things that I would just, it's easy just to do this rather than actually do what I should be doing and what God has planned for me and my purpose, right?
Yeah.
Taking steps towards the greater plan. Because, I don't know, I'm a big believer in, God has a plan for you, but I've got to take the action steps towards it. I can't be just someone who sits there and just plays along and listens to and watches stuff that is just going to drag me down. So one part of it, on top of the gratitude that we were talking about, I've also been proactive in the things that I consume. I always try and look for the positives in things, and that starts with what I'm actually letting into my mind and being very, very disciplined about what I allow into my mind, because I want to be someone that fills their cup up with good things so that I can give good things back.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That made me think, when you're talking about watching all like the negative news and stuff like that, it kind of made me think about how people, they don't want to focus on their own problems, so they'd rather focus on other people's problems, even if it's like a whole country going to war, and they'd like to, talk about that because they can't sort of face what's going on in their own life at times.
Yeah.
It made me think about that, and it made me think about like making. I don't know if you've heard like the famous speech about make your bed,
Yeah.
and then Jordan Peterson also goes on about it. How like young people these days are so focused on like we're going to fix the world, we're going to fix this, we're going to protest about what's happening in other countries, and but you can't even like you don't even make your own bed in the morning. You can't even like fix yourself, let alone trying to fix what's going on out there in the world. So why don't you just start by just waking up every day and making your bed?
So true.
That's what that made me think of. But yeah, you can definitely be what comes in, what you consume. Like, what was it you said? The wolf that you feed is the one that grows or gets stronger or something?
Yeah. Oh, you mean on the group chat? Or just then?
Was that on the group chat? I thought I heard you say that. Something.
Yeah. Basically, it's like in your mind, if you imagine, this isn't my own original thought either, but bear with me. In your mind, if you imagine there's two wolves, right? Both want to be fed, both are hungry, but you have the control on which one you feed. You can feed the one that's of darkness, the enemy. Let's call it the enemy.
Yeah.
The enemy and God. All right. Let's say that they're having a spiritual battle in your head, which is something I actually do believe that's constantly happening.
In the battlefield, yeah.
Yeah. And so are you going to listen to the enemy who's just going to be like, bro, you can't do that. Well, you're not good enough. Why are you even trying to do that? Bro, you're just fat. You're lazy. Right, just eat that cake. Don't go for a run. Cake. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Or you're going to listen to God and be like, and he's just telling you, man, you got this. Like, I have a plan for you.
Yeah.
Stick to the plan. Do the work. Don't give up. Don't listen to negative people. Because there's a lot of people out there that probably, what I've experienced in life, they want to drag you down, or they might talk behind your back or whatever. But man, God's just saying, keep going, son. Keep going, keep moving. I have a plan for you. I'm here for you. I'd rather listen to him than the enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because man, one, it feels good to do hard things because it's only if it's in line with your purpose and your values. And I believe that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Al, because like my thought process is like, Jesus dying on the cross for us wasn't easy. I've read about like crucifixion outside of the Bible and how terrible it was and how painful it was meant to be and how it was just the most ridiculous death. That's the way that Jesus was meant to die, the hardest way possible in those days. And that's the decision made for him to be crucified for us, for our sins. There's a righteous attitude when it comes to doing hard things. I'm not saying that going to the gym is anywhere near Jesus being crucified, which is what it might sound like. It sounded like that in my head is what I was trying to relate to. But what I'm just trying to say is that, like, man, Jesus did amazing things for us. Like, why would we listen to the enemy? We've been saved. Why would we slip back into that negative thought process?
Yeah.
And if you haven't been saved and you haven't like found God yet and you're listening to this, like you've still got a choice whether you believe it or not. Maybe just start with thinking about the positive things instead of just slipping back into that thought process of like, I'm not good enough. Because man, you are good enough. Just think about how unlikely it is that you're even living right now. How unlikely it is that you're breathing. This world is amazing, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand how everything works, but I do understand that it's like 1 in a trillion that we're even here.
Yeah.
And that's God's plan. Like, that's amazing.
That is amazing. That's awesome, bro.
I don't know if I butchered that, but
no, you did well. I like what you said. It is amazing. Like, we got to focus on the positives. We got to feed I particularly like the analogy about the two wolves because I think, like, whenever you're looking at something, you can say, which wolf am I feeding here? Whenever you see something pops up on your phone, some feed, you're having a conversation with someone, it turns negative. Which wolf am I feeding here? And you can actually bring yourself back around just by that simple analogy, and it's really powerful, and it kind of like sort of disassociates you with it in a way, because sometimes people get too negative about themselves, think, oh, I can't believe I did that. I'm a terrible person, kind of thing, and they make it so personal. Whereas just thinking, no, but like there's two wolves. I'm just accidentally I fed the wrong one, kind of thing, like disassociates them and sort of brings it back to that reality where like you are saved, like you're in Christ. There's no condemnation. There's no sin has no power of you. Death has no power. All right, and just because you do make mistakes, but you gotta. I've been reading Romans lately, and just reading through chapter 6, and that's why like just before you sent me this, when you sent me the scripture Romans 12, I was reading through Romans chapter 6 to 8, and Paul's just talking about this journey that Christians sort of go on. So he explains freedom from sin, which is what I experienced when I quit smoking and various other things. But then I still had to go through the journey of freedom from condemnation, because I didn't automatically become perfect Christian. I still made mistakes, and I let those mistakes bring me down and bring me into a negative sort of arena and mindset where I was, you actually get attacked and you say, you're doing this, you're doing that. And then you got to learn to trust in God even more through those times and experience freedom from condemnation, which is like basically beating yourself up for making mistakes and doing the wrong thing, which everyone does.
Man.
And then after that, there's life in the Spirit. And that's what Paul goes on to talk about. And I think that took me years to actually learn. Like, I only just read it when I read it the other day in Romans, that's when I realized it. That's when it actually all clicked together for me. Like, that's what I was going through. I had freedom from sin, and I thought that equaled freedom from condemnation, but it didn't. I had to learn that, and I had to learn, I had to grow my faith to trust in God more, to not listen to the negativity of the enemy and not listen to those negative thoughts, and trust in him that I am who he says I am. So I had to get, years and years and years, bro. Like, I've been a Christian for I got saved in 2008. So it was like nearly like 18 years. Man, it was getting like through the journey of being free from condemnation, or I was already free, but like in my mind, years, bro, years.
That's crazy. I needed to hear that, because it's when you said, how you beat yourself up about it and stuff. That's something that I'm sort of coming out the other end of now. And man, there's probably more questions I have when I think about them.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I resonate big time with that. We've covered the
first topic, the first part of the podcast.
No, we're up to leading your body now. So we've covered leading your mind.
Yes.
The one thing that I really love about the way you look at things, because it's very similar to me, it's like you look at everything like a rep.
Yeah.
That's why we got 1 rep max, right? Like, if you want to get to a 300 kilo deadlift, it starts with 1 rep at 60 kilos or whatever.
Yeah.
I want you to sort of talk a bit more about that perspective that you have when you relate it to the Bible, because I heard you say you relate it to the Bible, and how in your faith, and you also relate it to life in general.
Yeah.
But I think maybe go down like the path of how you relate it to the Bible, but also intertwine into your life as you go along. So yeah.
Okay, I'll try my best.
But no, I've heard you say it before. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I've heard you talk about it before.
Yeah, I remember the first time I preached. I was sitting there trying to come up with analogies, saying all I could think of was gym analogies,
Yeah.
and likening it to training, because it is so much like that. Like, you go to the gym once, you come back and you obviously don't look any different. You go to the gym the next day, you come back, you don't look any different. And you don't really see the results apart from being consistent day after day after day. And then one day someone will notice, say, oh, you're losing weight. Oh, man, you look good. You built muscle. And I think the Bible is like that. Like, you don't get that instant gratification often. Sometimes you open your Bible and you read it and you're like, wow, God, God just spoke to me, kind of thing. But often it's like that day after day after day reading of the Bible and understanding it that is really, I guess, where you need to be. But I think, there's just so much parallels and analogies between the world of exercise and working out, that slow grind, getting into it, that there is with the Christian walk as well, because it's all about consistency. It's all about doing the small things, making the intentional decisions to actually read your Bible and pray a little bit by little bit every day, knowing that you won't necessarily see the benefit or see the change straight away, but one day you will, and you just got to trust in that. Is that what you were kind of?
Yeah. That's sort of where I was heading towards, and it reminds me of, like, when Hafthor Bjornsson, right? The mountain, the guy that has 510 kilo deadlift now, world's strongest man, beat Eddie Hall at his own game and deadlifted 510. So
yes,
man, you look at that guy, bro, top of the mountain, peak of his game, absolute animal, perfect deadlift. It looks so good. Then you go back to must be 15 years or something ago. You look at his 300 kilo deadlift. I think maybe have a look at it at some point, but the worst form you could ever have.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, I don't know, look back breaking, looks so painful.
Yeah.
Don't know how, like, wouldn't be the type of guy that you would think was eventually going to hold the heaviest deadlift record of all time.
Yeah.
But he started somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how did he get from A to B? Consistency, showing up when he didn't want to, like doing the work, taking the actions, not just saying it, being about it and doing it. And eventually, with all those things compounded over time, eating right, it's created this, like, ridiculous lift that, like, just blows your mind. That's half a ton. Like, some cars weigh that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and didn't he do it like, he did it like fairly, not easily, I wouldn't say easily, but I remember when Eddie Hall, like, because he was the first one to lift 500 kilos, he, like, started bleeding out his ears and he collapsed and he, like, but then, like, when Thor did it, he just did it, kind of thing.
Well, that's another point, right? Is you got to think about Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall took the world record from something like, and I don't know 100% accurate on the numbers, but he took it from something like 468 kilos, right? Before him, every world record was beaten by, like, it was like a kilo at a time, 2 kilos at a time. He took that world record from about 468 to 500. He's the reason why 500 is possible.
Yeah. No,
so
yes.
Before him, it was unfathomable. Like, the human body's not capable of lifting 500 kilos. Don't be ridiculous. Because he did it, made Thor believe that he could do it. So, we might say, like, I hear people give Eddie Hall a bit of flack. His attitude doesn't help.
No.
But the fact that he skipped over 30 kilos to lift 500 kilo, and the toll that would have put on his body would be ridiculous. Also, Eddie Hall is 6'3", same height as me, and he was weighing in at about 180 kilos at the time. Hafthor Bjornsson is like nearly 7 foot and weighs close to 200. or a bit over. So there's a bit of a difference there, and both are amazing athletes. But what I was going to say, amongst all that to the side, that was a bit of a side note tangent. What I found that what gym has taught me, 'cause I've been in the gym a lot longer than I've been a Christian, and what the Bible have taught me is that if you can do something daily that's beneficial for you, and whether it's like inconvenient, sometimes it is inconvenient to read your Bible when you're super busy, even though it's like only 10 minutes, like half an hour. I normally do about half an hour. Like I've seen real world change. Just like when I was going from, when I first started in strongman, I was going from like a measly 200 kilo deadlift and then working my way up the ranks to then eventually getting like a 400 kilo strongman deadlift, which is slightly different to a conventional deadlift. But however, I was still deadlifting up around that 380 mark on conventional. But it was what I did daily and what I pursued every single day, basically having a complete addiction to the process.
Yeah.
And the daily, I guess the daily rhythms. And the outcome came later. But it was getting comfortable with the daily grind. And I think that's what gym teaches you, is being comfortable, being uncomfortable, because it's, getting up early hours in the morning, going for a run or going to the gym, not always the best thing to do. However, the endorphins you get afterwards is great. And I see that with now I see that with my study habit with the Bible and my prayer habit. I've noticed that when I don't do it, like I can see the difference in the day as opposed to when I do it.
Yeah.
And all those pages that I've read have compounded over time, and I feel a lot more grateful for life. I feel like I'm living out my purpose. I feel like I'm in alignment with God's plan, and I think that's why I relate, and that's how I do relate the gym to the Bible. We have a passage here. It's 1 Timothy 4 verse 8. Physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. Do you want to touch on that scripture? Do you have anything for that?
Physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. Well, physical training is about training your physical body, but then you got to combine that with, I guess, when you're reading the words of the Bible and the words of Jesus and the prayer, that has eternal ramifications, whereas your body is only for this time as well. And the other scripture that came to mind, I don't know if you... I can't remember seeing it here, but there was this is the one I always love, and the one that sort of inspires me is your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's in Corinthians.
Yeah.
And that sort of saying, like, I was like, before I became a Christian, sort of knew about that. I always used to think about, it was a joke, like saying, "Oh, my body's a temple, bro. I got to take care of it, and eat the right things and do the right things." But it sort of goes back to like the Old Testament, when there was actually a temple that people used to have to go to this temple to be in the presence of God, and in the Holy of Holies, right in the middle of the temple, was the Ark of the Covenant, where the presence of God was held, and the 2 stone tablets that Moses got the 10 Commandments on are there. And what it says now, because of what Jesus did, is that there's no need for that temple anymore, because God resides in us and his law is written on our hearts.
Oh, wow.
And we are the temple. So instead of having to go to a temple to experience his presence, we carry his presence with us. And just that alone, like, I'm a temple of the Holy Spirit. This body is carrying God's presence around for people, and just, even looking at me, even just seeing or hearing a person or seeing someone that you can tell they're fit and they're healthy and they take care of themselves. Like you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that guy looks really good, you know? Um,
They live by certain standards,
yeah.
and you can tell like their body, kind of as a representation of their discipline, and in the physical realm anyway.
Mm.
They're obviously very disciplined in that area, but I feel like for me, going to the gym it makes me feel good, yes, but I want to feel like I can actually protect my family.
Mm.
I want to feel like if anything goes down, like I'm strong enough and I'm able enough to protect them.
Mm.
And part of being a man is to protect. Um, but it's also I feel like if you're able to lead yourself physically, and I 100% agree with this. If you're able to have a good exercise routine, that your mind starts to feel better, the
Mm-hmm.
endorphins,
Mm-hmm.
and because you have those endorphins rushing from your weightlifting session or your run, you able to think a bit more clearly. You're a bit more inspired. You're a bit more creative. I feel like it gets rid of useless energy, and I feel like your spiritual walk is more purposeful. I feel like God calls us to, like you said, treat our body like a temple,
Mm.
and that's something that I'm still like. I train well, but I like food, bro. Like
Yeah.
a little too much.
Yeah.
However, training for me is not about the aesthetic. It should be a byproduct.
Mm.
The good aesthetic should be a byproduct of the healthy eating and the training. But it's all mental. It's all spiritual for me.
Yeah.
I train because it helps me be a better dad. I train because it helps me be a better partner to my wife D.
Mm.
I train because it helps me be a better leader and also a better person, a lot more level-headed person. If I don't train, I feel a bit more edgy. I feel a bit. I get a lot more anxiety. Um, and I feel like the enemy is just talking to you a lot more when you're not training.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, bro, you didn't train today. You suck. You're useless.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You don't belong in a gym, bro. When's the last time you've been in the gym? It's only been 4 days. But, it starts to accumulate. Like 4 days is a long time for me.
Yeah.
So it's so important to like first of all lead yourself, which is your body,
Mm-hmm.
then your mind. Your mind comes with it
Mm-hmm.
because you're in a lot more stable position mentally. Spiritually, your habits are a lot more consistent, and then you start building on that. It's like called habit stacking, right? Like
Yeah.
you have one habit that rules them all, like us, like the Ring, Lord of the Rings.
Mm.
But mine is gratitude, exercise, spiritual, like Bible, pray. Then I'm able to do everything else. I'm able to like lead my kids, lead my family. So yeah, the physical aspect of your life is so important, and
Mm.
especially as a man, you don't want to be a weak man that can't look after his family.
That's right. Yeah. I totally agree with that. Like just being strong physically is not necessarily the most important thing, but yeah, just feeling like you can handle yourself.
Yeah,
If the need arises. Even if like there's a fire and I need to pick up my kids
yeah.
and run, like I can do that. You know what I mean? Um, and what else were you saying about? I had a thought, just lost it. Sorry, bro. Um, Training your body. Oh yeah, the I think for many people, this, and I'm the same with you. Like once I start to get my exercise routine in order, other things fall into place.
Yeah,
And I think for many people, exercise is just like one of those keystone habits
mm,
that once they start to do that, it's like, oh, they eat. Like,
yeah,
yeah, have you noticed how like you're like, oh, it's all about diet, but you don't actually eat properly unless you're training. well
Yeah, it's because
either.
there's
Yeah.
nothing to eat properly for.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, but when you're training, you're like, oh, I better not waste the training. I better
Yeah,
eat properly. And then once you do that, then all of a sudden, yeah, like you said, you get your other habits in order. You start managing. I find like you manage your time a lot better as
yeah,
well.
absolutely.
You're like actually intentional with your time
Mm,
because you're like, oh, I'm giving up like maybe 1.5 hours during my day to train.
mm,
I've only got X amount of hours left. I better use it intentionally.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I just think it's so important. It's one of those things I think that lots of people will agree. It's one of those keystones, that cornerstone habit that once you get that in control, other things are going to come
yeah,
and stack on top of it as well.
yeah. And like speaking of time, like structuring and managing your time is a big part of discipline.
Mm,
If you don't have, discipline equals structure.
mm,
If you don't have a structured life, you don't have a disciplined life. We live our life as a family by Google Calendar.
mm,
So everything in our life is, even this podcast right now, is structured. The day that we had today was ridiculously busy, but every aspect down to almost the minute, if not the second, was accounted for. Um, but that's because we live full lives and we want to achieve so much. Um, but even if it's just like getting into your weekly rhythms of wanting to make sure that you're eating right every day, or you're reading your Bible, studying that, whatever it is, like you need to be very intentional about your time. Otherwise, before you know it, and like it's already March,
mm,
and how quick did that go? Our time was structured, but I don't know how someone would feel that just like what did you do for the last almost 3 months? It's you got to live with intention,
mm,
and the only way you can do that is by making sure that you know what you're doing when you're doing it, and not living passive. You know, living a passive life is boring. I don't want to sit
mm,
there and watch Netflix all the time. Like
mm,
I want to actually do something with my time. I want to have purpose. I want to have vision. When you have a solid vision, then you're able to structure your time accordingly.
yeah.
And it all comes down to if you want to live life by your values, what values do you have? What are your 5 values? Ours are like one of ours is faith. So that's making sure that we're at church, making sure that we are like reading our Bible, praying. Integrity is another one.
Mm,
You know, doing what we say, and like it's not like not deviating from that. If I say I'm going to show up to this podcast at this time, like normally I'm early. I got here on time, but I felt late. But for me, 10 minutes early is on time
yeah.
because I put that in my calendar, and this
Mm,
is where I was supposed to be. Um, yeah, integrity is one of them. Courage, the courage to step out. We got two more, but I don't want to go into it because there's
mm,
no point. But like leading your time, just hold space for you to lead yourself, and it holds space for you to do the things that are in alignment with your faith journey and you as a person,
mm,
and the goals and the visions that you have for your future.
yeah. I think it's freedom as well.
Mm,
Um, I've been reading a book called The Common Rule, and it's
yeah.
basically like about building Christian habits. But it
Mm,
goes into a lot about the biblical backing behind all the habits that it tells you to build, and it's got weekly ones and daily ones. But one of the things it says is that structure and like boundaries and things like that, they build habits. They lead to freedom.
mm,
And one of the questions that we sent ourselves some questions to keep each other on track, which
yeah.
I don't think we've done. One of the questions
Good.
where you sent me that I was thinking about during the week was, what's the difference between discipline and just being busy?
Mm,
And I think being busy is like a bit chaotic. It's like
yeah.
you just your life is just filled with stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if you manage your time, you manage that stuff that you kind of like have to do. That's not in your control. Like, you got to call the electrician to come and fix this, and then you got to pay that bill, or go down to Queensland Transport to sort out your license and all that stuff that makes you busy. But then having those structure and those boundaries in place, and knowing your values, like you said, it allows you to say, this is what my focus in. And the difference between being busy and just having discipline is that discipline actually gets rid of the stuff in your life that doesn't align with your values.
Yeah, that's true.
Discipline can be taking stuff away.
Mm.
Discipline can be making sure you get enough sleep and you get enough rest so you can be at your best. Discipline can be taking away, like I've done, getting rid of your phone for an hour a day so that you can be present.
Mm.
And I think in a way, people think rules and order and stuff like that are binding and controlling, but they actually create freedom because it gives you direction to be who you want to be and align yourself with your values.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. You know, when you said busy, the first image I had in my head was like, like an egg factory where there's like chickens everywhere.
Yeah.
Just running around. Like they look busy. Do you want to be a chicken?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you want...
I know you mean.
Sorry. It just, that's the image I get in my head when I think of people that are busy.
Yeah.
As, purposeless, just running
around, no idea what's coming next.
Yeah. Like, you see it with some parents, like some sports parents.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so busy. My son's doing this. My son's doing that. Yeah, cool, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You wait. You're like, oh. So you're just busy being busy. And like
busy for the sake of being busy.
And that's not a knock on people that like, I'm a sports dad. I do a lot for my kids, but everything's with purpose as much as we can.
Yeah.
Can be.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about leading your character.
Yes.
And I want you to talk about Joseph and from the Bible and his time in prison and whatnot. But first we have a verse, Luke 16, verse 10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Faithfulness isn't proven on the big stage. It's revealed in the small, unseen reps daily. Disciplines, private obedience, and doing the right thing when no one's watching. We sort of touched on this, but I know you've got a good story about Joseph from the Bible that I'd like to hear.
Yeah, Joseph was one of those heroes from the Bible, and I did a little bit of a study on him, and I preached a message like in my early days of preaching, when I was only could probably put together something that could last probably like 15 minutes. And I talked about Joseph. The brief was to talk about a hero in the Bible, and I chose Joseph. And one of the things that I realized about him was he had it hard.
Yeah.
But he was a person of strong character, of strong integrity. Probably the only mark against his name was him not realizing how his actions and the things he said were affecting his brothers.
Yeah.
And him not taking a step back because he had 12 brothers and he was the favorite of his dad, and that's why they were jealous of him. So that's probably the only real mark against his name, was not realizing that and not addressing that. And his brothers threw him in a pit. This was after his dad gave him Joseph and the Technicolor dream coat, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Gave him a colorful coat. In that day, colorful dyes were hard to come by, and it was kind of a really expensive thing.
Yeah.
And his brothers got jealous. They threw him in a pit. They sold him to some people, and they took him to Egypt. In Egypt, he spent some time in prison. He became a servant in this man called Potiphar's house. And Joseph was also a really good looking dude. So Potiphar's wife became interested in him, and she offered herself to him, and he declined. So he had the integrity to do that, which was probably pretty hard, considering he was just coming out of prison and on all the rest of it. And then she lied about that to Potiphar and said that he sort of like tried it on with her. So he got thrown back in prison. Okay. Now, all this stuff, like bad stuff, like he makes the right decision time after time after time. And the consequences of it was that you get thrown in prison, you get sold as a slave, you get thrown in a pit. We usually have this idea that bad things don't happen to good people, and people mostly use that as their motivation for being good. And when they realize that that's a lie, their morals go out the window, their character goes out the window, their integrity goes out the window. But I think character, because they're thinking, oh, character is doing good things for the sake of other people, for other people to see. But that's what the Pharisees were like, right? They did good things, and they gave like to the temple and things like that when other people were watching them, so they looked holy and righteous and all that. But Joseph was, a different kind. He kept on doing the right thing. He kept on having integrity, and eventually it came back to him. He became the second in command to the Pharaoh of Egypt. And then when he met his brothers again, he was able to provide them sanctuary during the famine. And it's always just inspired me that, I don't know how I personally would have handled that. I probably, like, after my brothers throw me in a pit and sell me, I probably would have just cursed them and like hated them. Yeah, but he doesn't. He just keeps on doing the right thing even when it doesn't serve him, time after time after time. He has that integrity and that character. And I think that's something that is just, to me, almost a kind of unbelievable. In a way, like that someone can be have that much discipline, that much integrity. It's so hard because even just being
that guy.
Yeah, hey?
I aspire to be like that.
Yeah.
Almost unrealistic, but I aspire to be that way.
Yeah, me too. And it's even just integrity, even just telling the truth.
Yeah, that's
like
important.
Truth can sometimes hurt. It can hurt yourself. And you talk about coaching and parents. You just told me a story about before off air, how you were just really upfront and honest with a person about where their son was at, and you just said, just let me do my job, just let me coach, and we'll see where he's at, And then you said the parent was like, yeah, you're probably right, but that could have gone the other way. That could have, like, he could have been offended. He could have, like, you don't know how he's going to react to that.
No.
But you just got to have that integrity to front up and say, this is the truth. Whereas you could have just lied to him and said something else just to make him happy.
Yeah. I think for me, the only way you can be like that is if you're true to yourself first. And I did speak about not leading myself very well. But one thing I am with myself is I'm very honest with myself and where I'm at and who I am and what I'm capable of and what I'm not capable of. Which then allows me to be a little bit more honest with other people, because I feel like I want to be honest with myself and I want to hear it. If you've got feedback for me and it's honest and it's not out of spite, like I'll take it on board. I'm like, man, like that actually, like that's probably something I can work on. And so I'm like, well, if I'm like that, I feel like men in particular need to be able to take on some form of feedback in that way, where it just takes, but it's not being honest where you're rude. It's doing it with grace, doing it with understanding. But I pride myself highly on just trying to be honest with myself. I have my days where I slip up, but it's just living your life with integrity and being the man that you say you're being and you want to be on a day-to-day basis. It allows you to What is it? It's allowed me to see the flaws in other people, though. It's allowed me to identify the, I like to say the abandoned child in people. You know, when you see someone who's loud, likes all the attention, makes every story about them, I instantly recognize where your flaws are. And I instantly recognize that you're just someone that needs a little bit of love, a little bit of guidance. But I think character for me is like we spoke about it earlier. You know, who you are at home, who you are in the dark. That should be who you are everywhere. So many people have this public persona of, especially with like social media and TikTok, they have this public persona of like, this is who I am, but it's not really.
Yeah.
And what really actually, and I've seen it lately. I've read an article, about you know, people going out and buying food or toys or something, or giving money away to homeless people, but like recording it and just for likes. It's like you're not a very, like, you might be a generous person, but if you're doing it for likes, like, I don't think you got the right character and integrity.
Yeah.
Because your heart's not in the right place. That's one thing I really wanted to focus on with this podcast, is being as honest and as real as possible. Because that is part of our character, is being upfront people that just talk the truth and don't mince it. However, I wasn't always that person. As I had my insecurities, as I was getting older and developing, yeah, even into my like late 20s, I'd tell myself like lies, and I'd lie to people just to make myself look better. That's so exhausting. It's so exhausting. You're better off being honest with yourself and honest with others, and just have a character of integrity and be someone that others can look to. Especially, man, like, I've been thinking about this a lot, especially my kids, my boys in particular. I got 3 boys, and they're watching me, man. Like, and I only say that because my boys have said to me a couple times, like, I want to be just like you. I was like, man, I don't want you to be just like me. I want you to be better than me. But it's because they see me, they see what I do. They see that, they see my character. They see that I'm the same no matter where I go, and that is scary. It's almost like it's a massive responsibility, you know. So you got to show up not only for yourself, you got to show up for those ones around you. You might not have children, but you also got to show up for your community and the people you're around. Yeah, your character is huge. Like that. That's who you are. That's who people see. So you want to make sure that you're in alignment with God, and you're in alignment with your own values, and you want to make sure that you're living a life that you feel like is worthy of someone that wants to go to heaven.
Yeah. That's cool, bro. I love that. Particularly what you said about just being there for your kids, and them looking at everything you're doing. It's just, sometimes that's almost scary. Like you said,
There's a lot of pressure to it, eh?
Yes. And just like, I remember accidentally swearing in front of Nina when she was like 3 years old, and she just repeated it straight away. And that I was like, oh no, I just failed, and that was only like just like one word. Like, but then you think about who they grow up to become, and you can already, like, even at such a young age, you can already see glimpses of like yourself reflected in them.
Yeah.
Even like the bad parts of yourself, and you're just like, oh no. And it really just hits home that I've got to start with me. I've got to change myself. I've got to change the way I act and the way I speak. Otherwise, and it doesn't matter how many times I tell her or say, don't do this, or you should be doing this, or you should be like, if I don't actually do those things myself, I'll like there's no chance that she'll like they do what you do, they don't do what you say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
And for girls, bro, like they're looking for an example in a man. Like you're their first love. They see the way, they see the way you treat Katie. Yeah, mind blank. But they see the way you treat Katie, you know what I mean? They're looking to you as what a role model of the type of man that they wanna have in their future.
Yeah.
And it's also important for your wife to continually like fall in love with the man that you are. If you're out there just like lying to yourself, you're also lying to your family, you're lying to all those around you.
Yeah.
I certainly want my daughters to look at me and be like, I have a father who loves me so much and respects my mom and is an all around good man and the type of man that I look up to. That you've got a high bar to meet for their future partner. Like I want them to have high standards of the type of man that they want to be with. I'm not going to dictate what type of man they're with, but I want them to have high standards for themselves.
Yeah.
And a high self-esteem. Because of the way that we treat their mothers.
Yeah.
And also the way that we treat them and we treat ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
100%. I think we've been going for about, hour and a half, which is good. Really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, me too. I hope everyone else enjoys it as well.
Well, as long as we enjoy it, I think that's the main thing.
That's it, bro.
It's whoever listens, they listen. Like
actually, this book I've been reading, Common Rule, one of the weekly habits it says is to have a 1 hour conversation with a friend every week. Right. Yeah, actually pencil that in, and just hearing that, like I started listening to it when we decided we were going to do like self-discipline and habits. That's when I started reading this book, and it just made me think of like the podcast and what we were saying, how like we just really enjoyed just sitting down and having a chat, let alone thinking about whether anyone else would enjoy listening to it. And when it went through like the biblical backing and things like that, I just thought, it is like so good for us and our mental health and who we are as Christians and people that we actually sit down and have those deep conversations that go beyond like, hey, how you going? How's work? Oh, how's the family? And just that small like little chit chat, which is why connect groups are so important. But one-on-one, there's nothing beats like a deep conversation one-on-one, hey.
And men struggle to do that, eh?
Absolutely.
We're so busy, we're so trapped with everything that we've got to do. And someone like me, I know a lot of people, but I'm still quite introverted, so I'm not like, I don't let a lot of people in. And which is weird to say because this could potentially go out to a lot of people and they hear all my insecurities, which is kind of scary, but at the same time, I'm here just talking with you. Yeah. And I feel good just having an honest conversation. And, I discover things about myself when you're telling some of your stories and when you're sharing, especially things from scripture, because like I've mentioned before, like I'm not an expert. I'm still very much learning. I'm still I've still got my training wheels on. Bible college is something is a goal for me eventually.
Yeah, nice.
I feel pulled for that, but this is therapeutic, and I'm the same as you. That's why I think I like just being super honest and just making sure that if we're going to talk about something, if I'm not living my life in accordance to like super discipline, I'm going to say it because, man, like the last thing I want to do is people to be like, oh, you're talking about this, but you're not living it. Yeah, man, I know I'm not living it, but that's why I'm talking about it. Is because I want to improve constantly. I'm the type of person that always wants to be better. So this type of podcast is really important, and hopefully we have listeners that resonate, and if you don't, like, that's okay. You might resonate with the next episode, or there's like a million other podcasts out there.
Mm.
I mean,
But don't listen to them. Listen to this one.
listen to this one.
Yeah.
But Alan now have a podcast. I think it's changed lives.
Change lives. Yeah.
Jump on that. You know, that's inspirational. Big shout out to our Life and Legacy here in Hillcrest and Pastor Kim,
Yeah.
Pastor Bethany. Man, we're super grateful for the space that we get to enjoy here for our podcast.
Yeah, this is cool.
Like, this is, you know, we're so grateful, and we hope that, you know, although we don't represent the church directly with our words, so you can never blame the church for anything that we say. Just a disclaimer. We might end up saying some wild things in the future, but we are very, very grateful for this opportunity. We're grateful for the community.
Yeah. No.
That's amazing. If you're not a part of the church and you want to be, man, like find a place that just you really resonate
church.
with. Yeah. And,
church just it's something special, man. It's just it's changed your life. Like, just even Pastor Kim says that he speaks and he counsels multiple like people as you do as a pastor, and he says that 90% of the advice that he gives people: read your Bible, pray, and be part of community.
Yeah.
He just says that's it. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah,
it's
the
just
3 pillars.
Yeah, absolutely. And people forget about that being part of community. It's more than just going to church. It's actually belonging to church, belonging to a small group, and building those solid friendships and putting others before yourself as well, I think.
Being a man of service.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's get into our action rep, bro.
Let's go. What have we got this week?
So 1 disciplined decision that you're going to make today, 1 prayer, 1 workout, and 1 hard conversation. So I'll go first, because 1 disciplined decision that I'm going to make today, and it's actually not my decision. My son came to me yesterday. My son needs tea, so he came to me. He's like, "Dad, I wanna give up sugar because I'm feeling unfit when I'm riding home from school." He's like, "I really want to just get into shape," and he's like, "I want to start, because we've got a gym downstairs." He's like, "I want to start lifting downstairs." So my commitment for him, and he said he wants to do it for a week of no sugar, which I think is great. So my commitment is to, do that with him, the no sugar for the week. Also, I feel like God's calling me to fast in between our podcasts. Like, I mean, fast as in, have like 2 meals a day, 1 before the sun comes up, one after the sun goes down. Just to really get intention, make sure that I'm like, the thoughts that I have and the things that I'm saying are from God and not from my own ego. So that's sort of 1 discipline that I really want to focus on. 1 prayer is just a prayer that I say daily. God, I'm just so thankful for everything that you have put into my life, my family, my friends, every opportunity. And I just pray that you give me guidance and wisdom. That's normally how I start my prayer every morning. 1 workout. So I believe that you've got a couple of workout plans that you've created.
Yeah, I almost forgot about it. Thanks for reminding me.
That's right. I'm intrigued, so I wanna follow one of your workouts.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Do you want me to chat about it a little bit, or do you want to carry on and I'll chat about it after?
Well, we'll carry on. I've got 1 more
Carry
thing.
on.
And then 1 hard conversation. 1 hard conversation I need to have is actually with myself in the mirror. I'm so hard on myself. I'm so, like, I never feel like I'm achieving enough. I never feel like I never feel like I'm the best dad I can be or the best partner I can be. And I need to have that conversation with myself that, man, like, you're doing all right. Like, you're okay. You're doing the best you can, and you're always intentionally making sure that your family's looked after. And just to give myself a bit of grace, because this past year for me has been all about just basically how crap I am as a person. And I know that's not true, but when you're in it, you don't know that. And it's been a journey to get out of it, and I need to make sure I have those hard conversations every single day. So, bro, just like, you're all good, man. Just pick yourself up. Don't listen to the negativity. Don't listen to, just because you haven't achieved something doesn't mean that you're any less of a person. You're all good. So that'll be like the daily conversation I have with myself. Other than that, I'm not afraid of hard conversations. I probably enjoy them too much to have them with people, so I'll steer clear of that.
Yeah, that's good self-awareness, bro. Good self-awareness. What do you got for me? What
So it's one disciplined decision that you're going to make today, one prayer, one workout, and one harder conversation.
Okay, one disciplined decision. I really should have read these before we started the podcast.
That would have been helpful, but it's all good. You can think of things on the fly.
I can.
Otherwise, I can make it up for you.
No, it's okay. I got it. One disciplined decision today. What are some habits? I think, I would like to start. I think it's got to do with food. That's what I keep thinking about, and I think it's possibly about eating, like snacking too much. Yeah.
Love a good snacking.
Yeah, and I just like, one particular thing I do is we have like these chocolates in the fridge, and they're meant for the girls. Just always, they go to bed, and I'm like, I just stay downstairs. I'm like doing the washing up, like just cleaning up. Katie cooks. We got a thing. Katie cooks dinner. I clean up afterwards, and she'll take the kids up, and I'll just quickly grab a chocolate out of there.
Yeah,
and they know I do it. It's not like I'm secretly eating their chocolate or whatever. But
so you're not Casper. Everyone's got a Casper.
Yeah. Yes. But and on top of that, when I'm like at the supermarket or whatever, and I go down the aisle and there's like a chocolate right there, I'll just grab a chocolate and just be like, yeah, sweet. And because I have been eating, my meals have been super healthy, so I think in my mind I'm going, I've been good. My meals, I can spare a chocolate.
Yeah.
But I think that's one habit that I really like to kick. Just not so much just for my own well-being, really. Not so much to lose weight or look good or whatever. Yeah, just my own well-being. It was either that or do a little bit more cardio, because I've got a few more cardio machines in the shed now.
Say no to cardio, bro.
Okay, bro.
No,
thanks for your advice.
Cardio is good.
No, I've been doing a lot of swimming lately though, so
that's good.
Cardio hasn't been a problem. I probably have been doing more cardio and less weightlifting.
Yeah, right.
Recently, so getting back into the weights would be like a good one for the workout, and I've developed that workout, which I've worked pretty hard on developing that, and I put a lot of thought into it as well. And
one prayer.
I recently just I'm praying with Hazel, probably my youngest daughter.
Yeah,
I say a little prayer with Nina before she goes to bed, because she's like the calm child. She's relaxed, and we have a little bedtime routine, and it involves saying a prayer. But I think I want to start, because getting Hazel to bed is a bit harder, a bit more difficult. She's got high energy, and Nina's like, "Oh, we're going to pray, okay?" And you pray, and she says, "Amen." But with Hazel, it's like, "Okay, we're going to pray," and you'll be like, Bow your head, close your eyes. And you're like, bow your head, close your eyes, and you'll be praying, and she'll be like slapping you in the face and stuff like that. So I think for prayer, I want to sort of instill that habit in my kids to pray, regularly. And we sort of got there with Nina.
Nice.
And I want to get there with Hazel as well.
You'll get there, bro. That's important that your kids pray. How you see it different.
Yeah, 100%.
One hard conversation.
Hard conversation. I think for me, I'm unlike you where I dislike having hard conversations. I always try to deflect with sarcasm and humor. But I can't think of any particular hard conversations that I need to have, but I particularly because I'm an introvert as well, I do not like talking to people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is tough. Being in a church.
Yeah.
And being like a men's pastor in a church. And it's an area of my life that I've constantly reflected and said, I need to be better at that. And I need to be better at approaching people who look lost or like are standing by themselves or something like that. And it doesn't help that like a lot of the times I do it, and if I feel like rejected or like they haven't sort of come to the party with stimulating the conversation, because I find it, even though we're on a podcast and I find it quite easy with you, it's not something that comes naturally to me where I can just sort of keep on talking to someone I don't know, and I don't know what's going on in their life, so I don't know what bits to, what strings to pull on to try and get them. So I think it's not like a difficult conversation, but it's difficult for me to strike up conversations with people that I don't know in certain contexts.
Well, I challenge you then on Sunday in church is to talk to 3 people that you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, and a conversation has to be longer than 30 seconds.
And I need to maybe make it like go a little bit deeper as well, I think.
Yeah.
I'm all right saying hello, hi, I'm Al, but then it kind of fizzles out. Maybe
just have a couple questions up your sleeve, like, are you from around here? What brought you to church? Are you new to church? Yeah. What colour's your dog? No.
What year were you born?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, I think maybe even just bring up those questions that Pastor Kim talks about, like maybe not to someone who I don't know from a bar of soap, but even other people, like, what's God been talking to you about lately? How can I pray for you? I always find it difficult to broach those conversations in with people that I do know sometimes.
Yeah. That's good, man. No, I look forward to seeing you work on that. Because you've got so much wisdom to give.
Thanks, bro.
So, like, any type of conversation you can have that can help somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know that one thing that you could say to somebody that could be like not impactful, but at least thought provoking, which would be good. We have a couple of freebies, right? We already spoke about one.
Yeah.
Was the workout plan that you've created. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I've developed a workout plan, and it's aimed at beginners. There are a couple of exercises in there, like if you've never done this exercise, like a barbell squat kind of thing, anything with a barbell, it has a little disclaimer, like you'd probably want to get someone more experienced to help you out with this, to show you the right technique for safety reasons, but it's aimed at beginners. It starts off simple, low skill, and it's got 4 weeks of conditioning your body, getting your body used to exercise, used to skill. It plans out the workouts and the rest days for you over a 4-week period.
Nice.
And then after 4 weeks, it sort of changes from conditioning to a muscle building kind of period of 4 weeks, where the reps change to the sets and the rep range change a bit to reflect that like hypertrophy.
Yep.
And it just slowly introduces more complexity as it goes along. It's planned for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then the third stage is building strength. But it probably won't work for you because you're already too strong. But it's aimed at that. it's aimed at that beginner kind of phase, where it just has rep range. It doesn't tell you what weights to pick. It just has rep range, and it says, you know, whatever if you feel like you're getting towards your max or close to your max at the end of this rep range, you're in the right spot.
Yeah.
And it's something that I put like a lot of thought into, a lot of work into. It's got a bit of leeway where you can choose a few different exercises as well for certain parts. Just really like I find that one barrier to the gym is you going in there not knowing what to do.
Yep.
And feeling embarrassed. And another barrier is going to the gym and not only not knowing what to do, or even if you do know what to do and not having a plan.
Yep.
That's why, like, you know, all those class-based gyms are so popular, I think, because people, there's someone that they tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
They make the plan for you. You don't have to think. You just have to move.
About making it as easy as possible to get there and do your workout.
Yes, exactly. And you've developed a habit tracker as well.
I've developed a habit tracker for your gym habit, but also your Bible study habit and whatever goals you have.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be free PDF to download. I believe yours will be free as well. PDF to download. I don't know. Al knows how to do that, so he'll explain that. But
I'll do that.
Basically, the habit tracker is just it's a 90-day habit tracker because what I found and what I've learned is that when you can break things down into bite-sized chunks, if it's massive goals, if you can break them down into smaller chunks and achieve them day by day, what we call win the day, you're able to then eventually accomplish whatever goal you have. So it has the 90-day goal, and then it also has 5 non-negotiables that you've got to do every day that's in alignment with that goal. So the 5 non-negotiables for, if it's a gym habit and it's also a getting closer to God or faith habit is, you pray. Pray could be one of them. Read your Bible daily could be one of them. Eat like good food, drink enough water, and exercise. 5 things daily that you can do in your habit tracker. Now, in the habit tracker, it's as soon as you've completed those 5 things for the day, you tick it off in a box. So, like, you'll see on the PDF, there's like 90 squares, and then there's actually 91 squares. The square that's 91 is basically says rep complete. So that's so 90 days is like one set, and then the 90 boxes is a rep each. So it's 90 reps of your daily habits. So every single day, do your 5 daily habits. And then it would be interesting to see if you see a difference in that 90 days. And I mean, if you're willing, put a comment after the 90 days is up, and just give us a bit of feedback about how you feel, how you've gone over that period of time. But it's really just there as a tool for you to be able to keep yourself on track with anything that you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. One other thing that I wanted to announce is we'll be doing a giveaway before the next podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys can see, we've got shirts that we made with our One Rep Max logo.
So good.
We'll put probably photos up on the gram or whatever, wherever we post these things. And do you want to explain? Because you had a good idea for explaining who wins. We'll also put it up on our social media, but explain who and how you win a shirt.
Yeah, sure. So, well, it's pretty standard. So we'll have like however many shirts that we have to give away. And
we'll have 5.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, well, it's pretty standard. I think like lots of people do it on social media. Is we'll post a episode or a story or a post, and if you like and share and comment on that post, then you'll go in the draw to win one of these shirts. And if we get less than 5 people doing that, then if we get like exactly 5 people doing that, we'll just give away 5 shirts. If we get like 100 people, we'll draw the names out of a bag or a hat, and send those people some apparel,
some merch.
rep the pod.
Is this limited to Australia, or are we potentially posting outside?
No, we can post it.
Okay,
as
cool.
long as posting doesn't cost that much, does it?
No. I am old school. I don't understand logistics around these things, and I don't understand much about.
No, I think it would just be like once you sort of draw the name out of a hat, then you just contact them, like instant message them, say what's your size, what's your address.
Yep,
we'll send you a shirt.
That sounds good. Man, yeah, awesome. Is there anything else with that?
No, I just hope it all goes well.
Yeah, well, look,
with your personal, the action reps as well.
Yeah, yours too.
I'm looking forward to actually, just continuing.
I might actually, maybe we blog it on our Instagram, like a little bit on like how we're going, maybe week by week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. We'll discuss it after this. But
yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a longer episode and a bit of a heavier episode, I think. I certainly feel like I might have spoken more than I should have, been a bit more vulnerable. But that's what it's about. It's about showing up when you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's about doing the hard things. When you're down and out. When you're struggling, who you are shows up.
That's right.
Yeah. That's your 1 rep max.
That's your 1 rep max.